welcome back or to the channel. Trucker Rod and S.E.E. here. It's been a week since I dropped the video. As I stated in that video last week, it was going to be a busy week. 19 stops over 4 states, and I was shutting down between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, so just wanted to get a meal in, decompress a little bit, and get some sleep. Therefore, just wasn't too motivated to do something 9-10 o'clock at night to get a video out for you folks. I apologize for that. Before we get started today, if you could like, subscribe, share these videos. It's helping the channel grow. I appreciate all the new subscribers coming in, and make any comments, any suggestions you'd like to hear or talk about. So we're gonna get started today. Basically, had a couple days at home. I got home Friday. Got to enjoy my kids were home, so I haven't had them wrangled together from around the country and into one area, so that was nice. Spent a day for that. The wife's birthday was yesterday, and today is Mother's Day, so got going this morning at 8 o'clock, and I'm on the very east side. I want to say I'm right on the Ohio-Pennsylvania state line on the turnpike. I've got to go down to Industry. It's a town called Industry, Pennsylvania. That's where I got to go for my first delivery tomorrow, so therefore it's 30 minutes away, so this is a good spot. Plus they give the turnpike has free showers. One thing I've been hearing a lot about lately is the FMCSA and the clearinghouse blood pressures, and of course if you've got anything in the clearinghouse that is going to be could be used against you, whether you had dropped dirty on a drug screen in the past but have since cleared yourself up, got yourself moving, but if that's in there, it's kind of like having a on your credit report, let's say you had a late payment, missed a few payments on a credit card, and you got dinged, a little black eye on your credit report. Same thing with the clearinghouse. Go back and look through the clearinghouse on if you've got anything. You can log in there. I will look to put the link down below, but get in there. And pretty much everyone, even myself, has had to sign up to register to be on that clearinghouse. And all that does is, if your doctor, let's say you live like where I'm at in Michigan, and then I move across the country somewhere else, but my Michigan doctor that say had been treating me marks something in my charts for, and what we're going to talk about, say blood pressure. So then I go across the country, move somewhere else, and that new doctor marks something. They're going to be able to see that the DOT and the government's going to be able to see all the charting, no matter what doctor treated me on what side of the country. And this is also to help the drivers that were evading, let's say, being diagnosed with high blood pressure, which would hinder them getting a med card. So then they go to another doctor to try to get their blood pressure, like get them to persuade them to give them a DOT med card and just fudge the numbers on, you know, the blood pressure and all that. This way, everything can be accountable for. You know, it can be good and it can be bad. I'm on the fence on that because I know a lot of guys have abused prescription drugs in the past and other medical stuff, so therefore they have, I want to say, walked through the shadows to stay under the radar, to, you know, not to be able to keep their med cards even though they have poor health. So therefore, check that clearinghouse to make sure you don't have any bad issues from the past that they could use against you, because it's like November 18th. I'm going to talk more on that later. But November, I think it's November 18th this year, they're going to start railing on the drivers that may have a dirty past and a present situation going on in the clearinghouse. So take a look at that, and I believe that may include even your MVR, stuff like that. So I'm going to take a look into that later. But being that I worked in the cardiovascular for 10 years, I would do stress tests, and with those stress tests, I've done over 10,000 stress tests over that 10 years, and a lot of them were treadmills. And when people are doing a fast walk or a hard run on a treadmill, I've been trained to take blood pressures while they're running on the treadmill, and I got very good at it. Therefore, I know a lot about blood pressures and hypertension. Now, as I'm working towards one of my side hustles to build that up, I had to take a medical exam for it's just a lot of moving parts on that business. It's one of my investments, but I had to have a medical exam on it and this and that. They came out to the house Saturday morning and took my blood pressures. Though I just got out of the truck for 24 hours, they took the blood pressure. First one for me, 112 over 70. The second one was 108 over 68, 64. So mine's well below the means, but I've been physically fit all my life, between racing bicycles to sports, growing up. And of course, I hand unload, the requirements like I do, 200 pounds of equipment that I'm hand unloading. So I'm lifting and doing physical work every day, getting in that trailer. I'm 57. I don't take any medications at all for anything. Nothing. Not even vitamins. I take nothing. Just watch my diet. Don't eat no sweet snacks, candy bars, pastries. Just keep it clean. It's been better regulated here in the truck. So I've been able to shed 8 pounds. So I got my weight down from 192 to 184 just by eating healthier. Even though I'm doing the same type of work, I just am not eating out at restaurants and high sodium. So you got to be very conscious of your health. So I got looking into it, and the FMCSA, in collaboration with the clearinghouse and all that, and I had to take glasses off here. So I just a normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. So what's that mean? Systolic means that's the diastolic is filling the heart chambers. The systolic is when it's pushing the blood out of that chamber. You got 4 chambers in the heart. I'm not going to go too in depth, but the last chamber, the left chamber, is going to be the main one, is going to pump blood out into your system. So your lungs, kidneys, liver, spleen, all those vital organs, and of course your extremities, arms and legs, are getting blood pressure. And the diastolic is when the chambers are filling up, non-oxygenated blood on the right side, then funneled through your lungs to get the CO out, and the oxygenated blood in oxygen in to refill into that left chamber. So it's all about how hard that heart has to work to push the blood out and to fill the heart back up. And if you're out of shape, overweight, and the system has got to work hard to circulate the blood, that's where, and I'm just making this as simple as hell for y'all. On a cellular level, this thing gets really crazy. But I've been very blessed, just because my parents don't have anything of high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that jazz. But on the other hand, you got to maintain and watch, especially as you're getting older. I'm 57, so let's say you're 50, you're hitting 50, and you're going, on the back side of your life. You really got to start watching what you're eating. your weight, and staying moving. The body is made to be moving. These bodies, the human species, is not made to be sitting still. It is made to work and move. Not at an extreme rate, like doing extreme sports or doing something that is so heavy lifting, labor intense that you wear your joints out prematurely. But you should be moving. Now for me, I showed you all my shoes in the past. I go with a good shoe. I spend the money and have good shoes at this point in my life. So I go with the Hokas. They're a thicker sole. For me, that's great. I don't have any back issues at all, or cervical spine issues, anything like that. I get out and I put them on. I walk around here, at the truck stops and that. I do get some walking in. And we're going to have more of it as the summer months are coming. That'll take you guys along. But 120/80, that's what they deemed as normal blood pressure. That the body is working without laboring. When you get into the higher blood pressures, you're putting more pressure on your arteries. The veins return them, the arteries deliver the oxygenated blood. So therefore, being fit, it's going to work more efficient, just like an engine. The more efficient it is, the better fuel efficient it is. Dirty air filters, dirty oil, worn out parts, runs inefficient. So when you have high blood pressure, which they're deeming now stage 2 is 140/90 or higher, what that does is it puts more pressure on the arteries. That's what happens when you have an aneurysm. It's like putting too much pressure in a hose, and if you put more pressure than that hose is rated for, it's going to burst. That's what happens with brain aneurysms and aortic aneurysms. I lost my late ex-father-in-law day after my son's birthday. He had an aneurysm with the main artery coming off the heart feeding the whole body. It ruptured. John Ritter, the actor, died from the same thing, a tear in the aortic from an aneurysm. And that can be, like I said, that high blood pressure, you can have that happen. And that's what you don't want. And that's what they don't want all of us to have, is that high blood pressure. We are how do you control if you have a ruptured blood vessel in your brain or in your heart? This is just a matter, unless you're on the operating table and get the one off the heart fixed right away, or here in the head, you're done. You're gone. You've just checked out. So I just want y'all to know that these numbers are pretty important. So I just want to go over them, and just from my standpoint, because I have experience in this. So if it's 160 to 179 over 100 to 109, it's classified as stage 2. So what that means is you get a 3-month certification to take steps to bring your blood pressure down to the 140/90 or lower. They'll give you a 1 year or 2 year, depending on if you're getting it treated and it's being managed at 140/90, they'll pretty much give you a 2 year. But if it's not being managed and you pop out at 140/90, they may just give you a 1 year. Taking positive action can help protect you from long-term health complications, which we talked about. And if you got questions about this blood pressure and want me to talk a little more about it, please do ask. I don't mind. My kids pick my brain all the time on the medical side. If your blood pressure is higher than 180/110, this means that you're at a stage 3. And as a result, you will not be granted a certification for a DOT physical. To continue driving a commercial motor vehicle, reducing your blood pressure lower is essential. Now, if you can get these levels maintained and lowered over 6 months, if they've disqualified you, you got to wait 6 months, get treatment for your blood pressure, and then get reevaluated. Then they can reinstate your DOT med card for at least 6 months at a time, until such a time when there's consistency, and if you can even get it lower, then you're looking at a 1 year at a time, and maybe your full reinstatement of 2 years. But at least if you can get that 3 months, but be diligent. If you're at that bubble where you get disqualified or you're marked down to 3 months, I'm going to tell you right now, get healthy. Stop what you're doing and make that priority, because you're no good to no one else. If you're out here pushing yourself all the time, and you have a spouse and children at home that depend on you, unless you have got a good insurance policy that's going to be better, than that will take care of them, I'm telling you, you're going to rail yourself out of this job, unemployed, and may end up losing everything you have, from home, cars, and a way of life. So therefore, what I can best tell you is that should be your wake-up call, your why factor. Why are you taking affirmative action on controlling your health, your blood pressure mainly, or your diabetes? Because you can also, when you're taking care of your blood pressure and getting healthy, losing weight, getting fit, exercising, and eating healthy, you're also going to see that if you're pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, you may find yourself even getting off those meds, if not reducing the amount of meds you take. So wouldn't you want to not better yourself, but not only to save you money on the pharmaceuticals, but be there, have a longer mortality, to be there for your wife and kids, or husband and kids, depending if you're a female truck driver too. So this is so crucial, and that's why I say in de-stressing, watch what gets you stressed out. You may have to also mentally cut some negative aspects out of your life. I've had to break it off in an engagement with a fiance over 15 years ago. We just were in different paths, going in different ways of life. It was stress, very much stress, that it was giving me anxiety and racing heart rate. So you have to look at, if it's someone close to you, immediately to you, a family member or a close friend, what kind of stress are they bringing to the table for you? And what does you as an individual, or you and your family, need to be less stressed, have less drama, and more harmony, to where you get out of the truck, you walk in the house, you feel fresh, energetic, and not drained mentally and physically. So these are things you really got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, because the only one in control of all this, what I've been since the start of this video, is you. You have to take control of your body, and your wife can't do it. She can't ride your butt, or your spouse. So male or female. I keep forgetting, we got many female drivers out here, and they all too are also trying to take care of their health. But it's just so crucial to be there for your children. Your children are going to still look up to you and need you, whether they're 20, 30, or 40 years old. They're always going to look for you as a mentor for life advice or just moral support. So if you want to be there for them, take a look at yourself and say, what can I do better? And if you're smoking too, they can check for nicotine on that stuff. And it is best that, stepping away from the nicotine, because what the nicotine does on the arteries, just like caffeine and coffee, your arteries are gonna be at a resting at like a 120/80 blood pressure. Your arteries are gonna have a normal opening, where the dilation of them is going to be just resting at a normal opening. Once you add a stimulus like nicotine or caffeine, it's going to constrict them down to increase your blood pressure, to get that blood flowing more so you can feel more awake. Your caffeine to wake you up, that's what it does. It constricts down the arteries, increases your pressure, helps push that blood through more. So that's not always a good thing. If anything, on coffee, and it's about 80 milligrams per cup of caffeine, and these energy drinks are anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams, depending on how supercharged you're going to get those things. So keep it in mind. Your caffeine intake, your nicotine intake, your sugars, sweets, your fatty intake. If I had diabetes, blood pressure, and high cholesterol, I would be getting the blood pressure and the diabetes under control first and foremost. I would be spearheading those. Those are going to ruin your CDL. High cholesterol, you could have high cholesterol to the moon. They're not going to take your CDL away over your cholesterol. So I wouldn't even fret about it. But it is a modifiable, controlled action you can take by changing your diet and getting exercise and lowering your numbers without the meds. But the two things I would be really concerned about is high blood pressure and your blood sugar, your A1C, and your overall blood pressure, blood sugar, because those are going to be really flagged hard on your DOT med card. Blood pressure under the FMCSA is going to be section SS, I believe is what it is, but 390.41 B6. Driver safety and health medical requirements. So that's where you can find it under the FMCSA 390.41 BS. DOT acknowledges that drivers can be on blood pressure medications as part of their management regime. These medications are considered DOT approved for blood pressure control, ensuring that drivers maintain their health while complying with federal safety regulations. That's what we just talked about. And where was the other one? The blood pressure requirements are simple. Anything below 140/90 and you pass. Anything above and some action is necessary. Blood pressure regulations for the DOT physical help to make sure that truck drivers remain safe. This is all from this year, January 25th, 2024, and the other article was from February 24. So basically they're looking at stage 1 is if you're popping at 140/90 and it's not been treated, you may get a 1 year or a 6 month, just depends on your doctor, stuff like that. But if you're 140/90 and it's being treated, you should get maybe the full 2 year. Stage 2, 160 over 100 to 179 over 195, or 179 over 109. Certification for if testing at 3 months shows a blood pressure of 140/90, you may be certified for 1 year at that time. So that's treatment and of course taking control of your health. Stage 3 is 180 over 110 or above. Drivers disqualified but can be retested for certification every 6 months. And that was January 25th of 2024. So they're really putting their foot down on our necks. So and I know even with the drug screenings, random drug screenings because of the clearinghouse and stuff like that, I am not a big proponent of a lot of the drug screenings, being that, hey, if it's good for one, it should be good for all. And I think that should be for anybody that's holding position, even doctors, nurses, people that hold a driver's license. You should be dropping clean. And if you're dropping dirty while you're driving a car, so now that becomes a bullet aiming at us. Take heed to this, look into it, and don't ignore it. Be proactive. Hey, if I see you guys out here walking and trying to lose some weight or take care of your health, I see it all the time in the truck stops. You know what? Kudos to you guys. Be proactive. I give you nothing but praise and applaud you for, you know, getting out there and just taking action to get that taken care of and taking control of your life first. Because like I said, sometimes you got to stop, put you first, so you're better for the whole family. So stay safe out there, folks. Continuing educating. Knowledge is learned, not taught. And we will see you in the next video. And let me know if there's more discussions of this you want to come up with. Comment down below. I'll be more than happy to open this up for more discussion.